Have you registered to vote? Well, I have. If you haven't, millions of Ghanaians have. And tonight we are going to concentrate on those who have registered to vote and even tell you those who are apathetic to voting and those who are eager to vote, which regions are deploying the most people or having many people show up and say they want to register. Bernard is the one who's been crunching all those numbers. Bernard, how is it going?
Charlie, it's been interesting.
Every day there are new revelations, huh?
I tell you, and because the elections are closer now, we are looking more carefully at the numbers and what they could mean.
So the more you mine the data, the more you see new things that are
I'm telling you.
So our focus today is specifically on not who voted for who when,
no,
but we are rather focusing on which people are going to vote this year.
Yes, we want to look at the voter registration. Now that EC has officially put out the numbers, we want to know how many more people registered for 2024 than 2020. We want to know the distribution, which regions are going to get which number. And I want to know who had the biggest increase in percentage of voters registered.
Okay.
That's basically, and we can do that for constituency, for region.
And currently the EC says we have over 18 million people.
18,772,809.
Wow, I like how you know the numbers to the last one. So the ninth person.
18,772,809.
18 million. So 18.7 million people.
Yes, please.
Almost 19 million people.
Yes.
As compared to the previous elections.
Last election it was 17,029,971.
So it's just 2 million, okay, 3 million difference, almost 3 million.
No.
Oh, 17, 18.
So it's 1.7 million new voters. 1,742,838 new voters.
Not as much.
But it's good because it's a 10% growth, which is normal. 10% growth is normal.
Okay.
So this
for a
chart here
cycle.
So we had a 10.23% increase in voter registered. That goes to 1.7 million. So we have 18.7 million new voters.
We have done well. It's exciting because at least we have many people who are eager to register, even though there's apathy somewhere else.
We'll get to that later.
Okay. So take us through the map now.
So Sandra,
of these 18 million,
so let's go through this again. As you said, 17 million is now 18.7 million. So 1.7 million new voters, a 10% increase. Okay. Now, the 10% increase is your average increase in voters. So one of the first things we will do is to look at each region and what percentage they got. But before that, this is the state of play. We have a quick chart here. The deeper the orange or the closer to brick red, the more the voter population.
So this is the density.
Thank you. So Greater Accra has the most voters. Our voters are, we are above 20% of the national average, followed by Ashanti region, which is about 19%. Then there's Eastern region, there's Central region, then there's Western region, there's Northern region, there's Volta region, Upper East, Bono East. It goes in that order. So this tells you the number of registered voters. So let's go through the numbers. Greater Accra, 3.7 million.
3.7 million of the 18 million.
Yes, 3.7 million. And that's about 21% or so, 20-something, 20%. So 3.7 million voters for Greater Accra. The next region is the Ashanti region, 3.29. So 3.3 million. 3.3 million.
What's the difference between Greater Accra and Ashanti? I just want to say, because Ashanti, Greater Accra is what? 3.7
and Ashanti is 3.
So around 400,000 difference.
Yes,
okay.
Roughly 400,000 more. Then the next most populous region is the Eastern region, which gives you 1.8 million. All right. Later on, I'll show you something. But let me not go there yet.
Okay.
This Eastern region is number 3.
Okay.
1,810,421. All right.
And so even here, you can see from the color, you can see which constituency is denser, right?
Yes.
Is that what?
And by the way, let's go back to do something. Let me kill two birds with one stone. So Greater Accra has 3.7 million voters. Of that, it was an increase of 236,000.
Yes,
so Greater Accra had 236,000 more new registered, new voters to add to their 3.5 to give you 3.7.
Okay.
Then we came to Ashanti, which had 3,020,000 in 2020, and they have 3.29. So Ashanti has 275,000
extra.
So even though Greater Accra has more voters than Ashanti, Ashanti had more new registered voters than Greater Accra.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So then we go to Eastern region. Eastern region had the third largest number, 1.8 million, and of that 1.69 or 169,000 169,000
new registrants.
New registered voters, yeah. Then we go to the central region, which is our fourth largest region, 1,752,000 voters. They had 183. So central region had more new voters than Eastern. So central region registered more. Okay, let's just use the word registered more.
And it has brought the number to Eastern very close. So
yes. So Eastern is now 1,810,000. Central is 1,752,000. So a very marginal difference. So Central is a close fourth. Then, because the regions have been split, the next region of importance is the Western region.
In terms of
what is left of it? That is 1,200,000. So that's almost 500,000 less than Eastern
and Central.
Because this is just 1.2 million. Or you can say 1.2.
Almost 1.3.
Yes, 1.3, thank you. So that's Western region. Then your next important region in that order will be the North. What is left of the North after Savannah and Northeast was taken?
So Northern region.
Yeah, 1,209,000.
Okay, so still in the 1.2, around 200,000.
1.2.
Okay, around 100,000 difference with Western region.
So that's North. Then Volta follows. What is left of Volta is 1,043,000.
Okay.
All right, so that's Volta.
But look at the number of people who registered in Volta.
I'll come to that shortly.
Okay.
Then after Volta, maybe we can run through this quickly. You have Upper East. Upper East is the next. So apart from Volta, everybody left is below 1 million.
So how many are above 1 million?
Greater Ashanti, Eastern, Central, Western, Northern, Volta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So and then 9. So 7 regions are above 1 million. And then 9 are below 1 million. And those below 1 million, the largest is Upper East. 741,000. Right? So Upper East is 741,000 voters. Then that's followed not by Upper West, but by Bono.
Interesting.
What is left of Bono after Bono East and half was taken? That's 719,000. All right. Then Bono East is very close to Bono. So Bono East and Bono are almost equal. Bono East is 672,000. Then after Bono East, before you get even Western North. So Western North actually more than Upper West. So Western North is on your list. That's 522,000.
Which means if you added Western North to the Western and had one Western region, it would be a very big region.
Let me do that for you and see what it will give me. Let me just add Western because you asked. If I add Western to Western North, it's 1,800,000. That's Eastern region.
Yeah, Eastern region.
So if I add Western and Western North, in fact, it's more than Eastern region by about 1,000.
Wow.
So Western and Western North together is more than Eastern.
And it's also more than Central.
Absolutely.
Because Central is also
So
lower.
then in the old rankings, in fact, you don't even need to ask this. If I go to the old 10 regions, all right, to make your life easy, if I go to the old 10 regions, then...
No, okay, before you do that, I think it's just, let's finish up the...
Okay.
Let's finish up the 16 regions. So
we are asking. All right.
We have done Bono.
Yes, so Bono follows. Then Bono East, Western North, before Upper West. So Upper West is 518,000.
So Upper West is not just only rural, it's also
sparsely populated.
Sparsely populated.
So from Upper West, then you go to Oti. Okay. So Upper West is 518. Oti gives you 390,000. So
if you added it to the former Volta, which was 1.50 thousand, it means that OT and Volta would have been like 1.4 million.
I'll show you that shortly. You are right.
All right, so
then from OT, you go to Ahafo.
Ahafo.
All right. Don't forget, Bono was split into 3, but Ahafo is the smallest of the 3. That's 359,000. From Ahafo, you go to Savannah, which is much, much bigger in physical size than every region.
Landmass.
But the sparse is 342,000.
Small.
That's Savannah. Then the smallest region by way of numbers is the Northeast region, forgive me, Northeast region, which is just 339,000.
So the smallest region in terms of population in Ghana currently
is the Northeast region.
I don't know whether we should use population because that would be National Housing Census people. This is
registered voters.
Registered voters is more appropriate than population.
Good. So Greater Accra is the largest, Northeast is the smallest in terms of registered voters. But if I want to now look at the register in terms of percentage change, don't forget, if you are small, any number you add, the percentage is bigger. But if you are big, any number you add, the percentage is smaller. So don't let this be too alarming. But possibly because Northeast was the smallest, but also possibly for other reasons. If you look at the regions that had the largest percentage increase from 2020 to 2024, guess what? Northeast has 17.3%, almost 17.4% increase in registered voters.
Of their previous number?
Yes, so when you compare 2024 to 2020, they have a 17% increase.
Okay.
All right. Then you also have Northern. So it doesn't follow in that order. If the logic was about size, then it should have been Savannah.
Yeah.
But in this logic,
The
Northern
neighbor
is the next largest, 15.2. 15.2%. So even though just 159K is a 15% increase, that's pretty big. And a lot of the constituencies in the Northern region had high voter registrations.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come to this. Then in terms of the jumps again, Savannah also did pretty well, 14.75. So Savannah also got a lot of people registered. Indeed, I think the further up north you go, the more they registered. So you look OT. OT is a 9% increase. By the way, I'm looking at those who are more than a national average.
Okay.
I do.
Where
Bono
the national
East,
average is where?
10%.
10, okay.
Bono East had 13%.
13%.
So Bono East is also higher than the national average. Let me do Upper East. Upper East is 12%, higher than the national average in terms of increase. Upper West is 10%. That's the national average. Ahafo gave us 13% higher than the national average.
So the rest are all below?
Yeah. OT is around the national average. The rest are all below the national average. So let's look at, for example, Ashanti. Even though they had the largest number of raw new voters, it's just 9%, a little below the national average. Okay.
And Greater Accra?
Greater Accra's increase was 6.67.
So not as many people registered in Greater Accra as compared to their previous number.
Exactly, in percentages. So you always want to use raw numbers and percentages so you can have a better view of what's going on.
Okay.
Yes. Then if you want to even be a bit more nuanced, I'll pick a few constituencies that had high.
Okay. So in doing that, since Northeast is the highest, let's see which constituencies are there and what their percentage is.
Very good point. Northeast has 7 constituencies, and it seems to me as if Yagaba Kubori, 21%.
That's the Minister for Sports constituency.
21% increase in vote. It's just 6,000 new voters, but for a small constituency, that's a lot of voters.
Okay.
21% increase in registrations. Now you take Wale Wale, 16%, also higher than national average. You take Bumpurubu, 23%.
So is Bumpurubu higher than Yagaba?
Yes, Bumpurubu of the 7 is the highest, 23%. Okay. You take Nalerigu gives you 14%. You take Unyo, 16%, right? Unyo, 16%. You take Chereponi, 13%. So all the Northeast constituencies on average is 17%, but they registered a lot. Funnily, the constituency with the largest increase in voters, can you guess what it is?
In the country?
Yes.
I would come down to Greater Accra region, but it doesn't appear to be.
Percentage-wise, no.
Okay.
It's in the Northern region.
Which
it's called Tatale Sanguli.
Oh, wow.
29.72% increase in voters. It's a 9,000 increase, but 29 is almost 30% rise. It's a border constituency.
Zabzugu Tatale in the past, now it's Tatale Sanguli.
Tatale Sanguli has 29% increase.
Almost 30%?
Yes. Its neighbors like Zabzugu. Zabzugu got 24%.
So it used to be Zabzugu Tatale. So if you put the two together,
26% increase in registered voters. Yendi is 16%.
Before you proceed, I want to see the Tatale percentage in terms of the raw.
Okay, so Tatale.
Only Tatale, yes.
We want only Tatale. So Tatale is 29%, but 9,900 new voters.
Okay. So almost 10,000 people registered.
Yes.
Which is so moving them from what 30,000
from 33,000 to 43,000.
That's big.
Yeah, so that's Tatale. Okay. If you take Zabzugu, it jumped from 35K to 44K.
9,000 thereabout.
Yeah. If you take Yendi, it jumped from 74 to 86K.
So in terms of raw numbers, it may not be as significant, but in terms of the percentage of how many more people?
Because the largest constituency in the northern region is Tamale South. And Tamale South, which is where Haruna Idrisu is, they just had an 11% increase in registered. Actually, they had a 7.5% increase in registered voters. But the voter number is 123K.
How is Tamale Central behaving?
Tamale Central is 92,000 registered voters, 6% increase. Sorry, this is Tamale South. Forgive me. Let me do Tamale Central. You want Tamale Central?
Yes.
So this is Tamale Central. Yes, 6% increase, 5,000 more voters, 92K.
I want you to give me the 5 Tamale constituencies.
Together?
Central, Sagnarigo.
Okay, so I'll give you Tamale South, Tamale Central, Sagnarigo, and Tamale North.
Yes.
When I put them together, they are 350K.
Is this more than the vote from Northeast?
Beautiful question. So Tamale South, Tamale Central, Tamale North, and Sagnarigo together is more than Northeast region.
That's serious.
It's more than Savannah region.
Wow.
It's almost the same as Ahafo.
Just 4 constituencies?
Yes, because Ahafo is 360, so maybe 8,000 less. So these 4 constituencies in Tamale, if they were a region on their own, they would be region number 14. Just in terms of they are more than Savannah and they are more than Northeast.
Wow.
But if you put in Savannah North, so it's a very interesting question you asked.
So the reason I asked this, Bernard,
yes,
is that the Tamale constituencies generally go NDC. Then the Eastern Corridor constituencies, YND and those areas, generally go NPP. So I'm just trying to ask you.
You have a point there. So what are you saying? That you want to see...
So can you see the Eastern...
Okay, let me tell you which constituencies in the Northern region have the most voters.
Okay, good.
All right, let's not look at registration. Let's just look at voters.
Okay.
Tamale South is the biggest. 123K.
Mm-hmm.
Then places like
Gusheu
76K, Yendi 86K, Bimbila is 91K. Wow. I think Bimbila is either 2 or 3. Just give me a minute. So Bimbila is the second largest. Tamale North is 92K.
Also big.
So Tamale North is also big. No, sorry. Tamale Central. Tamale Central.
Tamale Central, okay.
So it's Tamale South, Tamale Central, Bimbila, in terms of raw numbers. Because Tamale South is 126K,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Tamale Central is 92K, and then Bimbila is 91K.
Okay. So
making sense?
Yes, it's making a lot of sense. So the key takeaway is,
so that
Greater Accra region has the highest number. Northeast region has the lowest number.
Yes.
But when it comes to percentage of people who registered, Northeast takes it.
Yes.
And which one is the lowest? Which one has the least registered in terms of percentage?
All right,
of the regions.
So you want to know which region had the lowest percentage increase?
Yes.
Okay, I'll find that for you shortly. It has to be Greater Accra. Greater Accra's percentage was 6.69. Greater Accra was 6.69.
So it's the lowest. So
in terms of percentage registration. Western wasn't that good either, 8.5 in terms of percentage. Mm-hmm. Ashanti was also 9%. All these are below the national average. And then if you look at
the upper regions.
The upper regions, 10% for Upper West, which is the national average. Upper East, 12%, a little higher than the national average. Bono, 10%, which is the national average. So Central, 11% around the national average. So the regions that didn't register people a lot in terms of percentage-wise
would be Greater Accra.
Greater Accra and Western.
And Ashanti.
Even
though Ashanti during the registration produced the most numbers.
Followed by Greater Accra.
I see. Right. Okay. Where else are you taking us to?
I wanted to just show you this in 10 region format.
Okay.
So if I look at percentage change in 10 region
would you want to do the registration before the percentage for the 10 regions?
Yes, that would be very good. So if you just want to take the old 10 regions, Greater Accra is still number 1. Ashanti is still number 2. But Western is now 1.811 million. All right.
Makes it higher than Eastern, which should have been number 3.
Yes. Then Eastern will be, forgive me, let me take out Western. Eastern will now be 1.810. So Western has just about 1,000 votes
different
more than Eastern region.
So Greater Accra, Ashanti, Western before Eastern.
Then you would have Central will give you, let me do Central. The Central hasn't changed, right?
Yeah.
So if you just take Central region on its own, Forgive me. I think I've picked too many things.
Yeah.
I'm getting confused. Good. Now, if I took Central, that's 1.7 million.
1.7.
Let me test the Old North. Let me test the Old North to just see what I would have gotten. So, this is 10 regions. Old North. Take out Central region. The Old North, as in adding the 3, 1.89.
Is that not higher than?
Yes. So this would have been higher than Western.
Western.
So it's 1,800,000. So that the registrations in the North
were high.
makes the North, apart from Greater Accra and Ashanti, the Old North would have been the biggest, followed by Western, and then Eastern, and then Central.
So Greater Accra, Ashanti, Northern region, Western, then Eastern.
Let me actually test Old BA, just to be sure. Let me just check Old BA for you. The Old BA, 1.7. So that's around Central. So number 1 is Greater Accra. Number 2 is Ashanti. Number 3 is Old Northern region. Number 4 is Western. Number 5 is Eastern. Number 6 is Central. Let's just be sure. This is 1.75 for Bono Ahafo. Let me check Central. 1.75 is almost the same.
The same thing. So they will come. They will be sixth, fifth and sixth.
Yeah, 5th and 6th. And then let me check the Volta, Old Volta.
Together, OT and Volta.
Taking away Central. OT and Volta together, right?
Yeah.
That will give you 1.4. You were right.
Okay.
1.4 million.
Okay, so which one would be the smallest then? It would be Upper West.
Yes, good point. So let's go back and check which would have been the smallest if you just take the old 10 regions. Upper West is 518,000. That's pretty small.
Yeah, because Upper East is bigger.
Upper East is much bigger. So in your 10 region scenario, your smallest size will be Upper West.
Unless, just to be sure, check Upper East.
Upper East is much more. Upper East is much more. It's 1.2 million.
Oh, huge.
So Upper East is good.
Huge. So the lowest is Upper West.
No, hold on. Give me a minute. Let me
put
be
it
sure.
together.
Let me remove Upper West. So let me just do Upper East. 741 is more.
It's still big.
It's more. So in your rankings, Greater Accra is still the largest. Ashanti is number 2. Northern is number 3. Western is number 4. Eastern number 5. Bono and Central are tied. Volta follows. Upper East and then Upper West.
So these are the registration numbers, and because we are working with 16 regions, so let's give me the 16 region map.
And by the way, the reason Northern overtook Western and Central was that when you look at the percentage change in your old 10 region scenario,
Northeast had the highest.
Northern, which is Savannah, Northeast, and Northern together, they had close to 25% change in registered voters. So there's something going on there. Together, they had 1.7 million. Let me do it. They are together 254,000 new voters for the 3 put together. 254K.
Now, so the big takeaways from the national 16 region map is that the region that registered the most people in terms of raw numbers is Ashanti region.
Yes.
Greater Accra region follows. But when you want to put it in percentage terms, Greater Accra region and Ashanti haven't done that well. Northeast rather has.
Yes.
And if you want to look at the region with the most voter registration or population would be Greater Accra, followed by Ashanti region, then Eastern and Western.
Yes, please.
And the lowest is Northeast region.
Yes.
Okay. Those are the key things.
The other thing I wanted to show you briefly. You asked me which constituency had the highest percentage registration, and I told you it was totally Sanguli. There's another little constituency in the central region called Ifutu. 28% increase in registered voters. You interviewed the NDC candidate for that constituency.
Yeah, Salam did on Eyewitness.
This is the constituency of the majority leader.
Yeah.
The 18,000 new voters. That is unbelievable. Wow. 18,000, and that is almost 29%.
So from 62,000
to 80,000.
And percentage-wise is second highest after Tatali Sanguli.
That's what my investigation has shown.
Just check Tatali Sanguli. So 28.
Tatali Sanguli was 29. Tatali Sanguli is 29, but Ifutu is 28.
Wow.
Yeah.
The majority leaders.
Although, if you come to the size of the constituency in terms of registered voters, it's not that wild. Ewutu Senya East is your big boy. They have 173,000 voters. And by the way, they registered 19,000 new voters. Just that percentage-wise is 12% because the base is bigger. But Ewutu Senya East, where you have Hawakumsin and
Nakoyo.
Yes.
Koyo.
Almost 20K new people registered there.
And typically, we get these higher registrations from Ayawaso West Wogon. How is it featuring this time around?
Oh my God, Ayawaso West Wogon, that's a good question. Ayawaso West Wogon was probably in the Greater Accra region, definitely when you come to percentages, they had the largest increase. They increased by 14%, but that was 15,000 new voters.
15,000 new voters.
It was a little below Ewutu, Efutu, and a little below Ewutu Senya East, but 15K in Greater Accra is a lot.
So you know what I want us to do? I'm going to take a break. When we come back, I want us to enter Greater Accra region properly. Good. And look at the numbers. So the 3.7 million, is that what the Greater Accra region is producing? Yes, 3.7 million. If you want to compare the constituencies, which ones are the most popular? So nationally, what are your top 10 constituencies? I can give them to you. And then if you put those together and compare them, because it appears that there are some constituencies where just 3 of them would be more than a region. Sanda. So we'll take a break. This is a Situation Room. We'll create new regions today. We'll be back and go into the numbers in Greater Accra region. See how significant the population or registered number of voters in this region mean to the national picture, what the contribution of Greater Accra region alone is. Yeah, welcome back. This is the Situation Room on ChannelOne Television. My name is Umaru Sandamado and I'm here with Bernard Avle. We are crunching the numbers for you in terms of which people are going to vote on December 7, 2024. It's just a few weeks away. You want to know where the most votes will be coming from. In the past, when we are listening to election results, everybody wants to hear Bantama, and K2 South. Because they've been split and sliced and diced together, those constituencies may not produce the numbers as you expect. But don't forget, the Electoral Commission says it's going to do a regional coalition for us this time around. So you want to start looking out for the results coming from Greater Accra region, not Ashanti, Greater Accra region, because Greater Accra region nullifies a lot of regions. So if they tell you that your candidate has won Upper East, Upper West, Northeast, Northern region, it does not mean anything until you hear Greater Accra region. So it's like the Florida of Ghana, isn't it, Bernard? So let's talk about
Greater Accra's growth. It overtook Ashanti in 2020 and has maintained that, and that aligns with the population census, where Greater Accra is now the most populous region. So a lot of these EC numbers, you can say they are right because they align with the census. So that's a very important point, right? Because then the the population distribution by age, the voter population sort of mirrors that. That's a very important point. Now, you are right, Greater Accra region is going to be very critical because for the first time, the constituency sizes are indeed beyond belief.
Okay, and when you say sizes, your population.
Yes, so Sanda, you have 276 constituencies. If you take the top 10 in terms of voter size, Greater Accra has 7.
7? Yes.
If you take the top 20, Greater Accra has 13.
Wow.
So in the top 10, there's only one central region constituency, one Volta constituency, and then this is top 10, right? And one Ashanti constituency. The rest are all Greater Accra.
So Greater Accra region takes 7, gives 1 to Central, Volta, and Ashanti.
Yes, the rest all Greater Accra, top 10.
Wow.
Now, the other funny thing is that if I take the top, let's do something. Let's start from the biggest constituency in Ghana, which is what? Guess.
It was Dom Kwabenya the last time. Is it still Dom Kwabenya?
If you're a betting man, you go for Dom Kwabenya, and I think you will be right if you chose Dom Kwabenya, because they have 182,644 voters. 180. It was just a 5% increase in terms of registration, a cool 9K, but 182,000 Dom Kwabenya. You know why? Where the place is. It starts from Taifa, moves to Kwabenya, parts of Atomic, Hacho, Agbogba, Abokobi. So you can drive from Taifa all the way to Abokobi and Dom Kwabenya, Agbogba, all kinds of areas.
Let me just digress a bit. Is Dom Kwabenya a municipality? Is it a local assembly or is it a constituency inside a bigger local assembly? Is it in Ga?
It's Ga East. Ga East Municipal.
And does Ghanaians have any other constituency apart from Dom Kwabena?
I didn't do that research.
Okay, but I'm asking this because recently they upgraded some constituency.
We can do a separation on that.
Yes. I'm just thinking it should be municipality status already.
I know. It's
because Ashaiman is.
Yeah. So Dom Kwabena is your largest in the country. Guess your second largest.
Ashaiman?
Yes. Ashaiman. And they are like opposite numbers when it comes to votes, but I'll explain. Now, when you put Dom Kwabena, Ashaiman is 174,000. So Ashaiman is about 8,000 less than Dom Kwabena. When you put the two together, Sanda, 357,000. If you were a region, there will be more than Northeast. There will be more than Savannah. So Dom Kwabena and Ashaiman are 357,000. Northeast is 339K. So Dom Kwabena and Ashaiman people are more than the whole of Northeast. Dom Kwabena and Ashaiman are more than the whole of Savannah. Dom Kwabena and Ashaiman are just 2,000 less than Ahafo.
Bernard,
I'm serious.
Northeast has 6
7 constituencies.
7. Savannah has 6 or 7.
7 or 8, I'm sure.
So even if you sweep the 2 regions,
yes,
and your opponent wins just these 2, it neutralizes you.
But it depends on how much they win it. Because you see, as it's designed, the percentage that the parties win Dom Kwabena and Ashaiman are almost mirror images of each other. Of course, the gap has closed. So Dom Kwabena is an average of 65% for NPP.
So cool MP.
And 35% for NDC. But NDC got close to 40% in the last election. And today there was a report, or this week there was a report that was filed that they claim they are going to do better. NDC is saying they are going to do better because they don't take advantage of the Adjoa Safo situation and whatever. Yeah. But the point is, Ashaiman is the exact opposite because Ashaiman will typically give NDC 65 and NPP 35. Although in 2016, just like in 2020, so in 2016, NPP got close to 40% in Ashaiman, but NDC reclaimed it and went back to 66. Dom Kwabena also gave NDC close to 40. So when you put the two together, you have 350K, and that 350K is more than the whole of Northeast, more than the whole of Savannah, and very close to Ahafo.
This is serious, Bernard.
Incredible.
This is serious. So these are just.
So if it was a region, it would be region number 14. If Dom Kwabena and Ashaiman were a region
in terms of rankings,
yes.
So, okay, now what's the 3rd largest constituency? And because you said top 7 are in Greater Accra.
The 3rd largest is Ewutu Senya East, but it's not in Greater Accra.
Okay, so it's not in Greater. So we
it's 173K, which is just about 1,000 less than Ashaiman.
Okay, but it's central.
So the 3rd largest in Greater Accra is Amasaman. So if I add Amasaman is 170,000. 170,000. If I add Amasaman to Dom Kwabena and Ashaiman, I have 527,000.
500,000.
So these 3 constituencies are more than Oti, are more than Upper West.
Wow.
If I put these 3 constituencies together, we are more than Upper West region. Because Upper West region is 518,000 voters. So 3 constituencies in Accra
are easily more than 5 regions.
Each on their own, not put together.
Yes, on their own.
So if we were ranking this, if this was a region, it would be behind. In fact, it's even more than Western North. So it actually, yes, it's higher than Northeast, obviously, higher than Savannah, higher than Ahafo, higher than Oti. Upper West is 518K. This is 527K.
So higher than that too.
Western North is 522K. This is 527. So it's more than Western North too.
So it's the 10th region.
Yeah. So I've been number 10.
Region.
Just 3 constituencies.
You know the tricky thing? I'm just looking at Amasaman, and I know it used to be Chobu Amasama.
Oh God!
Imagine if you put Chobu and Amasaman together as just one constituency.
Because Chobu is actually number 10 on the list in the country. Chobu is the 10th largest, which is 145K. So if I put Chobu and Amasaman, I'm doing something completely different.
So splitting them.
Chobu Amasaman alone would have been about 300 and something K.
So you split them, and they are still churning out numbers, which means they are ripe for splitting. What's your 4th largest?
And by the way, Amasaman is a very close constituency by way of, the last time was 51 to 47. And it swings, but NPP has sort of increased there, but it's a very close constituency. So,
unlike Chobu.
So far I've said to you that Dom Kwabena, 60-40 NPP.
Ashaiman.
60-40 NDC. Amasaman is, I can call it 50-50.
Middle. Okay.
Although we need to look at where the growth is coming from, and we can do that later.
Very well.
Now, the 4th largest in Greater Accra, guess what?
I'm looking at a coastal constituency. No. How good is Lejokuku doing?
Lejokuku is the 5th largest. There's somebody for Lejokuku.
Let me see. Your
but it's funny. Do you know why? Because the land in that constituency is owned by people in Teshi.
So Adenta.
Thank you. So you are spot on. Adenta has 163,000 voters. If I add Adenta, so in my top 4, I'm now around 690,000. So I'm more than Bono East. So right as a region, I'm creating a regional. I'm more than Bono East region.
I think we should give up.
Urbanization.
We should, yes. And Adenta is a new settlement area. Amasaman, new settlement. Look at the government.
So you notice that, you are very right. You notice that these consensus you are creating, you are showing, are on the upper fringes of the region.
Yeah.
So people initially live near the coast and move out.
Yep.
So they are on your way out. Yeah. This is on the Accra Kumasi Road. This is on the Accra to Ebri Road.
Yeah.
This is also on the Accra to Ebri Road. There's even Punkatamaso coming.
Yeah.
On the Accra to.
Yeah.
So you have noticed the sort of peri-urbanized angle.
And they are becoming urban all of a sudden. Because Amasaman now, you can easily call it urban.
Yes.
So I was saying to you that when the government wanted to put up an estate kind of thing, they chose Pokwase.
Exactly. Which is trouble.
Which is trouble. So that zone, that enclave is becoming...
Yeah.
Okay.
So my 4 largest Greater Accra constituencies are now, if they were a region,
690.
they are more than Bono East. And people below it. Now, guess who is number 5?
Number 5 should be the neighbor to Adenta.
There are 2 neighbors to Adenta here.
Okay, then let's choose Lejokuku.
Yes, Lejokuku is the bottom neighbor. Sorry, Lejokuku is the bottom neighbor. Lejokuku has registered voters of 162,000. A little, just 1,000 below Adenta. So Lejokuku, let me take Crow out, forgive me. So Lejokuku, when you add Lejokuku, you have 850,000 voters. You are more than Upper East. You are just, so if you take the top 5 constituencies in Greater Accra,
they become easily numbered.
They are more than every region except Volta upwards. More than Upper East, more than Bono East, more than Western North, everybody else. So at this rate, only Volta, the new Volta, is more.
So only the regions with more than 1 million.
Yes. And by the way, the regions with more than 1 million are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 7 regions of the 16 are more than 1 million.
So this is our 8th region?
Yes.
Easily?
Yes.
We are plotting something. We are creating, but I don't want us to do this. The regional minister, the local government minister will be watching.
And Sandra, you raised a very important point about where they are located. So Lejokuku is the first coastal of this 5. 3 of them are clearly peri-urban. Ashaiman is dense and it's been big for long.
I think Ashaiman is a different kettle of fish. But Bernard, so the thing is that Lejokuku is also seeing developments. Lejokuku is also an area where many people want to move to. Those people are building. But largely is the top 3 that you're looking at, because I'm sure if you want to increase, they are still not going to be coastal constituencies. It's as if the coast is becoming a business hub. People go do business and retire to their dormitory constituencies. That's what I'm seeing here.
Very important. Now, the next biggest fish in the country. So, by the way, Adenta is the 5th largest in. There's Domi Kabenya 1, Ashaiman 2, Amasaman 3, Adenta 4. So how come I have 5? So Lejokuku is 4. Lejokuku is 5. So Domi Kabenya 1, Ashaiman 2, Amasaman 3, Adenta 4, Lejokuku 5. My 6th is Madina. And guess what? Madina is between Adenta and Domi Kabenya. Boom.
But Madina, you wouldn't say it's a new developing area. Madina is like Ashaiman.
No.
Have always been popular.
It's called Madina Abokobi.
Okay. And Abokobi
so Madina is on your route to Ebri.
Yes.
So even though there's Madina and Zongo New Road, Old Road, there's West Adenta is Madina.
Yes.
So when you are driving to Ebri,
you get to taxi rank.
When you get to SDA Junction, your right is East Adenta.
Yes.
That's Adenta.
Yes.
Your left is Madina.
Yes, which is West Adenta.
Exactly. So Madina goes all the way to part of Abokobi side. So when you're even going to Taiman.
Yeah.
Taiman.
So the KFC place, you turn left, that whole area.
So Sandra, listen. Oyarifa is Madina. Damfa is Madina. Taiman is Madina. Remember the MP?
Xavier.
When you get to Aimensa and you drive your right,
It's also
The road
Medina.
that takes you all the way to Amrahia, a lot of that is Medina. So Medina is also, which is why this is important to see on the map. These three people are all on your way towards Eastern region. So as people build houses, they move from Nima to Medina, they move from Legon to Oyarifa, they move from Shiashi, they go to, so it's...
Yeah. That's where you can get land.
Exactly. So we have, how many do we have now?
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is 6.
And we are 1,011,000. We are below voter region by just 30,000.
So 6 constituencies, 1 million plus.
1 million. So voter region is more than this 6 by just 32,000 votes.
Now, so this is 6. So what's our 7th biggest before we move out of Greater Accra?
Just by way of interest, the next in the list was Ketu South.
Okay.
Because Medina is 158K. Don't forget the number. Domi Kabanya 182. Ashama 173. Amasama 170. Adenta 163. The Jokuku 162. Medina 158. Ketu South is the next, 149.
Okay. That's Volta.
Ketu South is 149. Then there's Kwabre East in Ashanti, 146. Then guess who's the next?
And that means we are coming back to Greater Accra region. My constituency, which has just been given municipality status, Bonkatamanso.
No, you said something that you said something earlier that if we added
Chobu.
Thank you.
Chobu. Also on the Kumasi Accra Road.
See what we are doing. So basically, what we've done is that it's like a child playing. You are picking constituencies which are closer to the region out, and all of them. So there's a logic there.
And their neighbors.
So Trobu's neighbor is Amasaman. Trobu's neighbor is Domi. Domi's neighbor is Medina. Medina's neighbor is Adenta. Adenta's big brother is Lojokuku. So Ashaman is the only outlier.
So the development, even though development is happening on the Ningo Pram stretch.
There are also a lot. In the top 20, they are there.
I'm saying that development is happening there, but it's not as much as we are seeing in these areas that we are talking about, the northern part of Accra. So northern part of Accra is getting more development than eastern and western part.
We can check that using this point, percentage change. Actually, if you use percentage change, Amasaman is the one that's growing more based on percentage change. I don't want to spoil this graph, but some of the places you mentioned are also growing pretty well. But because they are coming from a higher base. So in terms of growth, Amasaman has grown the most. If you want, I can check this for you, right? So let me add Bonkatamanso, and let me add who else? Ningo Pram. You want to see who's growing? Ningo Pram is growing a lot. Because look at this. If I take Ningo Pram, how much has Ningo Pram grown by way of percentage of registered voters? All right, I'll show you something.
And that's on the eastern
Ningo
side.
Pram, 8,291 new voters. All right, let me take Bonkatamanso and Ningo Pram together. 16,000 new voters, the two of them together. Bonkatamanso and Ningo Pram together. If I add, because you're talking about that enclave, right? Let me add Ashaiman to that enclave. 24,000 new voters.
Give me only Bonkatamanso.
Only Bonkatamanso. Okay, so let me take out Ningo Pram and Ashaiman. 8,000 new voters.
So similar to Ningo Pram.
But Bonkatamanso is in your top 20.
Interesting. And Ningo Pram also?
Ningo Pram is also...
It wouldn't be because...
No, Ningo Pram is in your top 30.
Ningo has a lot of rural areas.
Yes. So let's... I don't know whether you've had enough for the day.
I've seen... No, what I want to look at is in terms of populous...
Okay, so look at this. Greater Accra growth per percentage. Number 1 percentage is Sege. You have to explain that to me. I don't understand. Sege has 13%. By just 5,000, 13%.
So you're saying that when people registered in 2020, and then they also went to register in 2024, Sege has more people per their percentage registered.
From 42K to 47K, 5,000 voters, 13%. I don't know what happened there. Maybe the salt factory.
Maybe somewhere.
Maybe something, yes, because we see some developments there. The second percentage, biggest percentage, is Ayaso West Wuogon. Actually, they are more than Sege slightly. They are 14%, 15,000 new voters. So Ayaso West Wuogon, 15,000 new voters. Sege is 13%. So Ayaso West Wuogon is the largest grower. Then your other grower is Amasaman, and then Bonkatamanso, and then you also have Domi Abra Obom. So Sanda.
So the
fastest growers in Greater Accra, Ayaso West Wuogon, Sege, Amasaman, and then also Domi Abra Obom. So look at the
Now,
map.
nationally, it is Yagawa Kubori.
No, nationally, it is Tatale Sanguli.
Tatale Sanguli,
Yes.
but that's northeast.
Followed by Ewutu Senya. Efutu.
But in Greater Accra region, it's Ayawaso,
West Wogon.
West, and then Sege.
Sege, yes.
Bernard, we don't have a lot of time. I have to, my next question I'm going to share because I want us to look at it tomorrow. I want us to look at so you've done...
So I did the top 10.
Yes.
And in the top 10 I created 7 constituencies, which put together, the only region bigger than them is Volta, and then Volta upwards.
So what I want us to do in the next episode, when we come back,
Yes.
is to focus on the coast.
Okay, still on Greater Accra.
But it appears that the 5 or 4 growing constituencies are in northern Accra.
Yes,
they are not on the coast.
You want to see how the coast behaves?
In the past, if you're crying there, you are going to the Buano.
Yes.
So Kole Klote was Ododio was a big
In
constituency.
fact, we can do that, and we can also do, if I take the Greater Accra constituencies in the top 20,
yes,
there are 13. Those 13, if I formed a region, guess where they will be?
Number 5 or 4.
The only region that will be bigger than them is Ashanti.
Interesting.
Apart from Greater Accra. If I take the 13
So
biggest constituencies in Greater Accra and I put them together by population, they are more than every region except Greater Accra and Ashanti.
Bernard, then since Greater
Let's
Accra,
show that in the next show.
Since Greater Accra region is a swing region,
yeah,
I would say that Greater Accra region decides the national polls.
Depending on 2 things. Depending on voter turnout and depending on
percentage
voter
of win.
splits.
Okay, percentage of win.
Yes, voter turnout and percentage of win.
This is how we end today's edition of the show, Situation Room. We'll be back tomorrow because, I mean, we've not had enough of the numbers. And Greater Accra region, we've just found, is the elephant on the map. And the numbers coming out of Greater Accra region, after it took over as the highest region from Ashanti region, has been huge. And even some of the constituencies therein are extra. So that you have just a few constituencies taking over regions. I mean, that's serious. So if you're campaigning, you know that Greater Accra region is a region you must win to win. Of course, 2 conditions like Bernard has stated. My name is Umar Rusanda Amadu. I did this with Bernard Avle. We'll be back tomorrow. Please stay with us.